Like he said, I am the Bonnie Banks. I'll be moderating this town hall panel. I'm a radio personality, executive producer of Ryan Cameron Uncensored at Magic in Atlanta. So you guys can check that out at magic.com if you ever want to listen Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. But today we're going to talk about the past, the present, and the future of hospitality here in New York. And we're going to start with our first panelist, Shane Smith, our celebrity mixologist of New York. Go ahead and give a round of applause. Okay. All right, Big Shane. All right, Shane. Tell us what you do. Give us a little bit of who you are and how you got into the hospitality industry.
Well, thank you so much for. Is this on?
Let's just switch.
Hello. Oh, yeah. Let's get this started. Hello, my name is Shane Smith. Thank you for the kind compliment title of celebrity mixologist. I like to say I'm a cocktail tailor and a vibe curator, much more than others. I've been in the game for nearly 2 decades now. Started with a humble beginning of culinary school. Went to Cipriani's as my first job as a server. Saw the bartender, said, "Hey, that was an apple martini." He said, "Yes, it is. You bartend?" I said, "No, but I'm gonna keep watching you, and I'll figure that out." 4 years later, I was his boss, and we are still friends to this day. That's the big homie, but still, he put me onto a whole bunch. I've done some very amazing things around the city and the country. Now doing a private event company, consulting around the country. Had the good pleasure of meeting Terrill Patterson 2 years ago for Relly's, what was that, 57, 56, where I won New York then. Went to the finals. Unfortunately, did not take home that crown, and did some other stuff. I just, quick announcement. Sorry, I was told to speak up. Quick announcement. Now I'm going to be the GM over at Filet Gumbo Bar as of in the next 48 hours. If you would definitely come and support. You'll see some Jim Beam Black and maybe some Jim Beam Pineapple over there soon, Tim.
I ain't mad at that. Thank you.
Yeah, anything else I should say about that?
Yeah. No, we're good. All right, we're going to give you this mic. Let's see how this one goes. So my question for you, Shane, is how can New York's bar scene continue to grow and attract top talent while maintaining high standards in quality and service? Try that one. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, it's got sound.
Sorry, it's my musical background.
How can the scene continue to grow and attract top talent, but still keep high standards in quality and in service?
Well, aside from the beautiful, attractive lighting for us beautiful people up here, this is a distinguished panel and our distinguished host here.
Yes.
Let's focus on the ambiance, focus on different things that we can just in the environment, just bringing the mood, the tone, the sexiness to the environment. So that goes to the next level of the cocktail. It goes to the next level of that personality behind the cocktail. That goes to the next level of the masters behind the craft of the back of the house that brings forth that beautiful plate that your mind's gonna blow in the next few minutes as soon as you taste it. And bringing forth apprenticeships, mentorships, all different types of activations that we can be inclusive to the communities, to the employers, to the employees, vice versa, and the consumer. That any and everything from back of house or the bar to the table is that experience that is unforgettable, including the training that goes to the bartender, the chef, the cook, so on and so forth. and that thing that they give to any and everyone else. It's just the impact.
Yes.
The impact that definitely needs to be the star.
Well, congratulations. You did say you're going to be the GM of.
Yes.
Say that place one more time.
Filet Gumbo Bar.
Filet Gumbo Bar.
275 Church Street.
So what's the first thing?
Just Google. As we were chatting.
I literally just got this job like 2 days ago.
Okay, great.
Where is it? Hold on.
Well, what is going to be the first thing that you decide to implement as the GM there?
You know, that was a very good question brought from the executive chef and owner of Filet, Eric McCree. He posed that question, and what is your approach to, if I can add on to that, what is your approach to that? Like, how would you do this? Why would you do this? And I was like, whoa, right then and there, it was the why. First of all, I know you mean business. I want to work with you. You care. You ask why. What would I do? My approach is not the totalitarian, you get that new manager. Listen, I remember my first GM-ship a few years ago. I was a floor manager and a bartender 2 days before that. You think you want to see a new manager coming in and just change everything, fire you, fire your homie that you went, blood, sweat, and tears for the past, 2 years? Maybe your tips got messed up, maybe your check bounced or anything else. That man held you down, got your ice, did your stuff, or you got his ice, something like that. You want that one person to just come in and rain on your parade because he wants to do it his way or her way? Appreciate the hard work, but don't get it twisted.
Okay. He said don't cross him, in conclusion. Now, Shane Smith, if anybody has any questions for him, specifically, anybody in the audience? Shane Smith? Okay. We'll give him a round. Oh, hold on, we got one here.
Based on current technology with AI, how do you feel about just the shift in AI compared to, and drinks compared to just having a bartender still at the bar?
How do I feel about AI taking over the bar scene?
Well, not taking over, but
Or potentially, or...
coming more into the restaurant.
I mean, hey, do you, boo-boo. You can try, but you can't beat this pimp here. So, I approve this message.
I love your approach, Shane. Thank you. Give him a round of applause, guys. Round of applause. So our next panelist is Chef Whit from New York and Charlotte, the chef from Hell's Kitchen 2025. So if you tapped into that, then you should know Chef Whit. Give him a round of applause. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about you and your background and how you got into the hospitality industry.
So, hello everybody. I am Chef Whit. I am currently in Charlotte, North Carolina. I just moved from New York in March. So my journey has been a little all over the place. Started in North Carolina, and I moved to Atlanta for a couple years. That's how I met Terrill back there. I'm linked up with him. I moved to New York for a couple years, and now I'm back in Charlotte, just kind of, bringing everything that I learned along the way back to Charlotte for a little bit. It's not like a long-term thing, but it's a right now type of thing. I started cooking at 3 years old with my grandma and just kind of learned it growing up. Ended up dropping out of college my junior year to pursue my dream of being a chef because it's definitely been a passion of mine. So I'm one that definitely follows my passion, and I don't care about expectations or people's perceptions. If I'm passionate about it, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it to the fullest. And it's definitely paid off in my career.
Okay, Chef Whit, my question is, what are the biggest challenges hospitality business owners face in New York and Charlotte today?
Right now, I think the main issue in the hospitality industry is the staff. I feel like COVID really kind of wrecked our industry. A lot of people have left the industry, and the people that are still around, they kind of, some are in it, to be in it for the passion, and some in it just for a check. And we all know after COVID how the rates went up, and people are demanding more than their worth. Everybody knows in the hospitality industry, this is a service industry. So you're not going to get rich in this industry. You do it because it's what you love. And I think a lot of people that came into the industry after COVID are in it for not the service part of the industry, but for that monetary aspect, and it's kind of the wrong industry for that. And so one thing that I think to further getting better staff in the industry now is definitely mentoring. That's one thing that I do in Atlanta, in Charlotte, and I did it in Jersey as well when I was here. I'm involved in high school culinary programs where I go into the high schools and teach classes with the kids. I just did a culinary boot camp last week with some kids in Charlotte. So we have to really bring them up from the youth and show them the right way to get into the industry and how things operate.
Okay, thank you. That's great. I love that. A round of applause. Do we have any questions for Chef Whit in the audience? Any questions? No? Oh, we got one right here in the front.
What's been the biggest?
Give us your name and what you do, and then your question.
I'm Alicia. I'm brand manager for Jim Beam. Thank you for enjoying some Jim Beam drinks and cocktails today. My question for you is, what has been the biggest difference between your experience in New York versus in Charlotte in the hospitality industry?
Definitely New York is, it's a beast. It's the city that never sleeps for a reason. And I feel like to be here, you got to have that hustler mentality. So that's definitely one thing that I see here that I don't see back in Charlotte. And that's one thing that's why I thrive well when I came here, because I am a hustler. Like, I just hit the ground running. And I'm always wanting to be doing something, always trying to be moving. That's why I move from city to city for opportunities. So that's one thing that I'm trying to kind of get in my staff now, is that hustle. Like, the grind never stops. And to get it, you got to go get it yourself, and that's one thing that I teach my staff and the kids that I mentor.
All right, thank you, Chef. We'll give a round of applause.
I got one question. What would be, my name's Terrill, Atlanta, Georgia guy. The dish you love to make the most with all your heart. And when you're done with that, if you had to do it all over again, how would you do it?
It's not really a dish that I love to make. It's an ingredient I love to use, and I say this all the time. So anytime I can cook with sweet potatoes, that's near and dear to my heart. Because my grandmother, like I said, taught me how to cook at 3 years old. I'm talking putting a chair on beside the stove, and I'm stirring a pot over the stove. And so she was known for her sweet potato pie. So anytime I can use sweet potato, and it's not got to be a pie, it can be a savory application, it can be a dessert. Anytime I can use it, it's kind of like a nod to her. I'm like, yo, thank you for putting this in me, and it really guided me to where I am. And so, like, I guess I wouldn't really do it over. I use it in many ways as I can, from savory applications, sweet applications, to, pickles, to whatever. Like, I cherish sweet potato.
And one more, if you had to pick, which city out of Atlanta, Charlotte, and New York do you love the most? Oh.
I love New York, man. I'm coming back.
Not just said you coming back.
Yeah.
Atlanta's a close second.
All right, thanks, Chef Whit. Now, our next panelist we have is Food and Beverage Director of Thyme Bar, Erin, Birmingham. Yes, give a round of applause. So, I know a lot of them in here know who you are because we are at Thyme Bar. But go ahead and give us a little bit of background about yourself.
Yeah, so this is my second time at Thyme. I opened Thyme in 2020 as a bartender. I went away to open up a couple of restaurants and wine bars, and then came back at the end of the fall last year to run it as the GM, beverage director, director of directing, all the things, director, to help the team again. I think one of the biggest things, and if I can just go into it, change is something that needs to be constant and ever flowing. And when I came back and had stopped in a couple of times, I had realized that Thyme was at a standstill, basically. Things had not been changing. And I came in to start to implement that change and to recreate Thyme again. You're sitting right now in a space that has been underutilized and has not been used after 4 p.m. for almost 5 years. And today is the first day that we can actually host something here, that we have planned this space out to do exactly this.
Give yourself a round of applause.
So when it comes to change, it's kind of looking back on what was done, what was good, what was bad. Was I involved in that bad part? Was it me? Is there something that we can change collectively? So we actually do this. We sit down together. We talk a lot. We have open discussions when it comes to cocktails, as well when it comes to running the space on its own. So if it's a management discussion or if it's an all-bar team discussion, we talk about everything here, from the glassware to what's happening with the floor next. Like we talk about every little detail. Part of my background was in fine dining, so details are very, very important. And if I'm not looking at them, I'm hoping that I change the eye of the other people in this team that perceive every little thing here and start to open their eyes for all the details as well. So if I don't see it, they do, and they bring it to our attention, so that gets better, and we just keep moving up and up. We are in a place where I know where I want to go with this team. I know where we stand amongst the New York bar scene. We have been listed as one of the 50 best discovery, which means that we have eyes on us right now, right? So we can't slip. And every day is a challenge. Every day is different. John was gone for 3 days, and he comes back, and he's like, what are the specs? Cody's gone for an afternoon, and then he's like, something else has changed, something's new, we're doing something different. Like, absolutely, expect that every day. So when it comes to, the New York movement, I think COVID kind of taught us something. You can't be standing still, ever. We always have to shift and move and be a chameleon to be able to adapt to those changes. That's where we have longevity. We're celebrating our 5-year this year, and I hope we can continue to do that. The rest of the industry, it's about collaboration. If there's anything that you all can learn together and from each other, kind of like this panel, we always open our doors to other bars and other bar people to kind of mentor, but to also talk about the things that we're doing that maybe their bars aren't, and then we teach them and they teach us. There's just always a collaboration.
Awesome. What are some changes in New York's hospitality industry for businesses to continuously remain profitable but still reasonable to your consumers?
We have to play a game. So we have 2 spaces now, right? Downstairs is a little bit more refined and elegant. Our cocktails are higher price downstairs. We have $53 cocktails on our menu down there. That's not something that everyone can afford. And so for bar scenes to really succeed, it needs to be more attainable for everyone and inclusive for everyone. And that means how deep your pockets are or how shallow you are. If you want to have a good time, you can. So that's why we're opening the upstairs to be a volume space. So lower cocktail prices up here with higher price point downstairs. So now we're expanding our reach and inviting everyone in, no matter what you can afford or what your taste is. I think that's the way we're gonna be able to sustain business from here on out, is to have a broader reach and a bigger, 19 to 55, keep it all in there together. But also pay your rent.
Okay.
So we gotta do that.
That part, clock it. All right, Erin. Does anybody have any questions for Erin Birmingham in the corner over here? Yes. Name, what you do?
Hi, Erin.
Happy.
So I'm a beverage director over here in Midtown as well. Question I have for you is, you took an amazing, a cool space, a versatile space that's already been open for 5 years, and now you're redirecting it and making it amazing. Where did you find the confidence to put forth these ideas, and what was your inspiration behind what you've already put in place?
The motivation was actually me going, oh shit, This is mine now. It was, again, from seeking help from friends and just kind of talking and being like, girl, you got this. Like, you're good. Just do the thing. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to write it out. I'm going to plan it. I'm just going to do it. And just put your head down and you just go. Get your team on your side. I got my team on my side, and we're doing the thing. Second part?
Well,
Oh,
it's like
the
where you found
inspiration.
The inspiration.
The inspiration came from the wall downstairs. I stare at spaces. I'm a little weird. Like I said, I notice details that are kind of off the beaten path. So I went downstairs when it was still kind of grungy, and there was a fingerprint in the wall, and no one else could see it because it was like all one color. And I went over to it one day, and I'm like, I'm gonna paint this black and gold so that way you can see it. And it's a symbol of identity. And so when I came in, my inspiration became the identity of this bar, being who we all are that work here. And I created the menu off of that fingerprint. I got a fingerprint from the door to go downstairs. You can't enter without a fingerprint being there. It just kind of blossomed from that weird thing in the wall. Yeah.
Any other questions for Erin? No. Okay.
We have one question.
Exactly. When am I working next week?
It's mostly about like the generational difference between the bartenders. So now I think we need the right approach to basically do that.
I think mentorship is always a beautiful way to start. I mean, I'm your old mentor right now. There's like 20 years between us. It's wonderful. But I think then you find your youngin' and your little duckling, and you find that one to bring up with you. It was always like a journey, no matter where you are. It's always, I have somebody I look up to. He's younger than me, but he's been in the game way longer. It doesn't really matter. I think it's a level of passion, and if your passions match each other, if your energy matches each other, then you are probably right for learning and bouncing ideas from each other. Go for passion instead of, I guess, age. I don't know. Finding more young guys like you would mean, do more competitions, go to more festivals, cocktail festivals, and find the other bartenders that are wandering around and just say hi, take them under your wing, and introduce them to the people that you know.
Okay. Thank you so much, Erin. Give her a round of applause.
People. They're good. Good for laughs, for snorts, for cries, and goodbyes. People are good for doing nothing, or getting up to something. People are good for squad goals, and squad. People are good for these kinds of cheers, and these kinds of cheers. People are good for you. Jim Beam, best enjoyed together.
Tim Heuisler, our Jim Beam ambassador. Give him a round of applause. We've got a drink, too.
My drink's empty, but that's all right. We're pacing ourselves.
Yes, we've got a long night.
We got a long night. Yeah.
Okay, Tim, go ahead and tell us your role as a Jim Beam ambassador.
I will, thank you. And actually, it kind of ties in to John's question, so I'm glad that you asked that. So also, sweet potato pie. Are they here? That's a no. Okay, we're gonna work. All right, we're gonna get there. That's all right. Okay, all right, cool. That's where my brain's at. Anyway, but to John's question, so originally from the suburbs of Philadelphia, bust my first table when I was 14 or 15 years old, and then fast forward, I was 21, busting tables, bar backing all throughout Philadelphia. Met this gentleman named Chuck, may he rest in peace, literally in an alleyway between Philadelphia's oldest bar, McGillen's, and what was about to be a still long-standing live music venue and whiskey bar called Thyme, spelled differently, but like the time, like what time is it? Anyway, I met Chuck when I was 21. I said, hey man, you hiring bartenders? And he asked me two questions. He said, do you bartend? And I said, mm-hmm. I could make like 3 drinks. And he said, do you have black clothes? And I said, yes, which was true. He said, great, you start tomorrow at 3:30. I worked there for almost 10 years. And in those 10 years of running a whiskey bar and jazz venue, also to tie back to one of your points, Erin, this venue had everything from $3 high lifes to $120 flights of whiskey and everything in between. And it did not matter what you looked like or what bar seat you sat in or what table you had. If you had $3.25 for a high life or $135 for a whiskey tasting menu, we were serving you and we were, I can't curse, we were psyched. It was awesome. It was such a cool community, and we talked about past, present, future, right, of kind of the hospitality scene. Fast forward 10 years later, sold my soul. I work for Jim Beam. I'm a corporate guy now. Sorry, not sorry, but I love it. Currently the global ambassador for all things James B. Beam Distilling, so I'm based here, but just got back from Poland, and we go to Brazil with our 7th generation master distiller, Fred No, next month to do a media tour. And what's cool about working for this particular distillery and this particular brand is that it is global, and it is something I've met more walks of life, more human beings that are connected to this industry and just connected to a bar stool, a bar seat, a restaurant, an experience, a storytelling, a cocktail competition. Like, my favorite part about tonight is that we get to hear everybody's stories as they make their drinks. Like, incredible. I was like, oh man, I wish every bar I walked into I could get a 5-minute story about the cocktail they made. And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, wait, but that means I'm waiting behind someone else also doing that. And then you're like, no, give me a drink, right? But like, that's the beauty of this industry is the storytelling, it's the personal connections, it's being able to sit at a bar and feel comfortable in your own skin, in your own self, and hopefully that the bartender is receptive of that. And so, bringing it back to John's question, as a young bartender, I did find, fortunately, some of the older generation that like took me under their wing, and I studied my ass off. I took notes. I'm a dork. I still am. I'm a big old nerd. I take notes at meetings. I take notes to competitions. Anytime I had a distillery, like, I just want to learn. And the best part, John, to your question, as a young bartender here in New York City, take notes, know your craft, know your product, and most importantly, know the person sitting across from you at the bar. If you follow those, and man, if I can make one wish for the future of this industry, it's just less cell phones at the bar. Never walk up to your bartender and say, can you make me this? Oh, I'm so glad I didn't work in that generation. And praise be to all you bartenders that do, you're amazing. But I'll never do that, I promise you that. Yeah. That was my story, I don't know, I went off track. I think I went off track, so
No cell
anyway,
phones,
that's, yeah.
Tim, what types of investments should brands and suppliers be making in New York's hospitality industry to create more long-term growth opportunities for businesses and workers?
Personal. So I'll say that, we say it internally. Brands can show up with all the money in the world, and that is awesome. And I will say, working for this company for 8 years, we will never have the largest checkbook at your bar or at your event. I know that. But for me, it's all about personal relationships. When I left my bar, the reason I wanted to work for Beam and wanted to work for Suntory was because the folks that drank at my bar, the first time they walked in, and for those 10 years, it was never, yo, we got this for you to taste. They're like, hey, how's your weekend? Hey, what's this playlist all about? Hey, what's Chef cooking tonight? So I think the biggest investment we can make is in the people. To anyone that touches our brands, like the Jim Beam brand, any brand that we produce, and our offices are right around the corner. Anyone want to come for happy hour? Grab my information. You are officially invited to the Beam Suntory headquarters. Hey-oh, you're invited, let's go. There we go. I'm not kidding. Hit me up on it. Like, we do happy hours once or twice a month. The biggest investment you can make is in the people, right? If we could all just cut checks to every bar and say, it'd be really, really cool if you just poured more of our stuff. That'd be great, but that's just not the way of the industry right now, right? This industry is in a bit of a decline. It is in a bit of a tough spot, particularly after the pandemic, but we're coming back. And it's, Chef, as you were saying, like the people that are still in it are in it. And so I think we need to work collectively and with intention to get some of the younger the next generation involved to get them to be passionate about it. But I think the biggest investment we can make as brands is in the people and in the people that are back there, feet on the street, showing up to work every day and closing the bars down every night.
Okay, Tim, any questions for our Jim Beam ambassador? Anything? You guys have had some Jim Beam. You don't have questions about it?
I have a question.
Okay.
What's your favorite market outside of New York?
Yeah, Tracy, no, she said outside of Philly, because I did say I'm from Philly, so Philadelphia, obviously. No, I'd say outside of New York. The markets that I think relate to most, have the most fun in, and I think we have like the biggest impact in, are always the secondary or tertiary markets. So I talk about markets like Cleveland, Charleston, South Carolina, Tampa, Florida, for stuff that's in the United States at least. And then when you get out of the United States, Melbourne, Australia, like places like that get overshadowed. New York overshadows everybody, right? Because it should, right? Let's go. Yeah, yes. As we should, New York, yes. But when you get into some of the secondary cities that might not get as much love, that might not get the cocktail competitions, might not get as much support, that's where I think a lot of the communities and a lot of the humans that touch these brands and touch this industry, you just see a really just strong connection there. So I could go on and on about different cities that are fun to travel to. And I'm supposed to say Atlanta, but I'll see you in Atlanta. So yeah, I know I'm supposed to say Atlanta, but everyone's saying Atlanta. That was an easy one.
He's international, so.
Atlanta was an easy one. Come on now.
Okay.
I knew.
Any other questions? Okay. Give a round of applause for Tim Heuisler.
Everyone here is awesome. Y'all are the best.
And our last panelist, Terrill Patterson. He's the CEO of Relly's Hospitality.
Over 20 years in the hospitality industry has taught me there are a million little things that make one great experience, and we don't miss one of them. Through our competitions at our events, at Relly's, we provide premium, fully trained bartenders and nationally ranked mixologists, premium beverage services, and event management. I've serviced over 350,000 people with A-list clientele, joined the NMSDC, National Minority Supplier Diversity Council, and started the largest series cocktail competition in the United States. I'm just a proud Flintstone guy from Michigan on a mission to create the best experiences for our clients.
This is Relly's New Year 2022. We're at the Omni with the Peach Bowl Inspired Cocktail Competition.
We're often imitated, but never duplicated, because at the end of the day, at Relly's Hospitality, we only know premium.
Okay, Terrill, this is our last panelist here. Terrill, you guys give him a round of applause. He has been able to cultivate this town hall panel for the past, the present, and the future of the hospitality industry. And now we're in New York. So from Atlanta to New York, Terrill, go ahead, tell them what you do and how you got up here.
All right, thank you, Bonnie.
You're welcome.
Hello, everybody. Again, my name is Terrill Patterson, owner of Relly's Hospitality out of Atlanta, Georgia. We have a database of 375 bartenders and servers. We do around 180 events in Atlanta a year. And we travel across the country, and we also do these lovely competitions to uplift the bartending and hospitality community. I've been in this industry for a very long time, and I wanted to put this panel together because there's a lot of times we have these panels, but not really from people that's really in it. It's usually either the people that's over it, or it's the customers, and we don't never get to say what we really want to say. So I always wanted to, while I'm doing this, I want to make sure that people get to say what they want to say and show how we can move in the future. Because we already did the past. The past was dope. The past was great. We was making a whole bunch of money, and then COVID happened. Everybody knows that, and I've been saying that across the country. The present is we're just stagnant. We're sitting here waiting for something to happen, and everything is happening, and we're not doing anything. The world is coming to the United States for the World Cup and games and entertainment, and are we ready? I know in Atlanta we're lacking, but we are getting together, and we are moving forward and trying to be a national city in hospitality with food and drinks. I know New York has been here a very long time. You guys been doing it. the people who work in this industry are really great because it's so many people per capita. I mean, if your name is out here in bartending, you should give yourself a round of applause because it's like, what, 8 million people in this little area? Being a dope bartender in Atlanta is great too, but I mean, Atlanta is the stuff though, but it's not that much competition. But instead of getting into all of that and talking about the future, I want to actually this time talk about making sure that you're taking care of yourselves, okay? Making sure that just because you're behind the bar and we make a lot of money and we have a lot of fun, it is a very slippery slope, okay? It's one of those industries where you can hang out all the time, you can have drinks, you can go out and hang out, and then stuff just starts getting away. And then it just compounds day after day. Let's start thinking about what happens after. Are you insured? If you're not, that's cool because nobody's really giving us insurance anyway. But still take that bread and insure yourself, okay? This industry this year, a lot of people have been passing away. And there's a lot of GoFundMes going on. And I'm tired of the GoFundMes. I want to say F the GoFundMes, okay? Fund yourselves. Take that $50 and get them policies, all right? Moving forward into this community, into hospitality, from a national standpoint now, before I was only talked from what I've seen in Atlanta. I went to LA. I saw how they work together, how they're building. They closed down for a very long time. Atlanta never closed down. So we have a little disadvantage because the people who got into the industry at that time didn't need any training. And when they were coming into work, they was making $400 and $500 a day for 2 years. And you're going to tell them you need to train? Why would you train? I make more money than you. You know what I mean? So how are you going to grow if you already supporting yourself, supporting your flights and all that stuff, and then somebody comes and says you need to start training. You got all these people coming in. You're already hot shit, right? But then you come to Chicago, and they have a great industry, a togetherness. They do, like even the competitors there help each other out all the way through from the beginning to the end. Detroit is a little behind too, but I mean, they're just now reopening in a sense. Not from COVID, but just as a city in itself. New York, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you, bro. I'm in here, I looked out the window and said, damn, there's a lot of people out here. But everywhere I've gone, like these bars like this, like Thyme Bar, like give a round of applause for Thyme Bar. Like just the togetherness with that, like the dopeness of it. I met Erin in a chat for black and brown bartenders and servers in the industry. And she reached back out. Like, I would have never met you in my life, okay? But then we got on the phone and we chatted it up, and it was like, yeah, the stars aligned. But how dope it is, how much competition it is, and then how much togetherness there is here. Even though it's competition, but it's more like, I want to see you do better. I'm gonna do this. Oh, I'm about to do this. Oh, snap! You got a $53 cocktail on the menu. I'm about to have a $54 cocktail. It's gonna beat that. I swear on everything. That's the type of person I am.
Okay, so based on your experience in Atlanta and other markets, what are the key factors that make a city's hospitality industry thrive?
Key factors are the togetherness, the trainings, working with making the whole experience like a family experience. From the guest to the bartender, to the manager, to the owner, to the brand, to the building, okay? Everything should be cohesive, everybody should be treated like a family member. And I know, everybody knows, there's some people in your family that you don't like, okay? And, you know, you just gotta, we're in public, okay? So you can't say what you wanna say. But going around, that's what I'm starting to see. I really do like the way Chicago does their togetherness. And I think Atlanta really needs that. LA is working towards that. New York is pretty much there, but it's just so many people. Like, you don't even have to leave this block, it looks like. You know, you never really have to leave the block, right? Because you got a CVS everywhere. That's true. We'll cut CVS out. No, I'm just kidding. But also being able to talk to and touch like brands like Jim Beam, okay, in the Beam Centauri family. Like being able to touch them and then they actually listen to somebody to see what's going on and then say, you know what, I'll do that. I'll give back to the community because there's a lot of brands that just want to have fun. I know all the brands, okay? Some brands just want to have fun. Some brands want to take you out and they don't want to grow you as a bartender. They want to hire you. They never want to give you any educationals to move yourself forward. They don't want you to talk about your future. They just want you to consume the product and sell the product, okay? We work with a lot of brands, but we also do not work with a lot of brands, and I'll say it on camera because a lot of brands know that. If you are not connected to the community and what we're trying to do, we ain't for sale like that, okay? And I think all y'all in here know that about me. So in order to align with someone, they have to really care. And for all of y'all, watch who you align yourself with. The money might be good right now, but in a year from now, will they have your back? Think about that, all right? Don't just go jumping for any little thing that comes around, because I know all of y'all, I know a couple of y'all, okay? But look, Chef Whit here, like, she don't just come out and hang out with people, all right? Sarah here, she don't just come out and hang with people. Akila, she don't just, like, these people flying around and coming out to do things like this because you have to pick and choose who you're going to be with and be yourself and align yourself with great people.
Thank you so much, Terrill. Yes. Any questions for Terrill Patterson? Questions? Yeah, are you
First off, hold on. I'm about to put that. All right, look, I'm about to put this to bed. First off, I was and still am. All right, I'm gonna say my name, okay? So in Atlanta, I'm still Terrill the Terrible, okay? I'm just put that out there. All right, I've been slanging drinks in Atlanta for a minute. All right, okay. Don't get it twisted. Just because I got the blazer on today, all right? I still get at you if I need to.
Talk.
Okay. That's the Jim Beam in me today, okay? That's all you're going to get right now. But just don't forget it. You know, I'm from where I'm from. I've been back there. I've been doing what you're doing. So when you're messing up, if you're being sloppy and all that stuff back there, I see it. So make sure y'all stuff is straight. Pay attention to the time. Shots fired.
Okay, and why is it important for, somebody of your caliber and of your status to know all of the jobs that come with being in the hospitality industry? Or at least most of them. I won't say all of them, but most of the jobs.
It's important to know what you're doing and who's doing work and representing you. I know how to do everything except for, chef it up. I chef it up at the crib. I don't put me behind y'all. If something happened, I'll go back there and cook some food. But if it gets sent back, don't get mad at me, okay? It's very important to know everything. Don't just be one-dimensional. Don't just be a bartender. Be the bar back. Be the person y'all know, well, some of y'all, if I'm working an event, 9 times out of 10, you will not know that I own a company. I will be doing the stuff and just, it's cool, guys. Yeah, I'll go run around the corner and do that. I'll take the trash out, whatever. Do everything because people have to respect you. And if they don't respect you, they're not going to work right for you, all right? I work off respect. I respect everybody, and people respect me back. That's what I would say.
Thank you. We do respect you back.
Hey, here we go.
Give him a round of applause. Give all of our panelists a round of applause. Thank you guys for joining the town hall of the past, the present, the future of hospitality here in New York City. We appreciate you guys for coming on here and just sharing your stories. Terrill, did you have anything that you would like to share?
I would like to say we about to do Manhattan 3 competition number 60 downstairs in a minute. We about to turn up for real. We already ready. Y'all talking about I don't shake no drinks. You ain't gonna catch me behind the bar today. But I will be there. Who knows? But we about to turn up and let's go have some fun. Jim Beam.
Those eyes, man.